What's up, guys? It is Will here, back again for another episode of Lights, Camera, Collect. Unfortunately, it's a one-member panel, just being me right now, but Kiko Collects and Dean the Dream should be here shortly. So I'm just going to introduce the show, get started, and hopefully they show up soon. Kiko texted me and let me know he was going to be running a little bit late. I've not heard from him since. I don't know where Dean's at. Dean the Dream is clearly with the ladies right now. I'm not sure what he's up to. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's Friday, February 21st, approximately 5:26 p.m. So we are about 11 minutes late right now. But you know what? We're still going to give you a good show, a full show. So we're going to make it happen. Guys, thank you so much for joining. There's a lot of news to talk about, a lot of big picture stuff, Terminator stuff to talk about, comparing both Terminators even. Of course, it was Blitzway that announced a DeLorean from part 2. We're going to talk about that and a bunch of other stuff. But I'm going to address the chat real quick since no one is here just yet. We're going to go ahead and address the chat real quick. So Terminator 2 here. What is up, bro? What is up? Flash Messi. Happy Friday to you, man. And Adrian Underwood, thanks so much for joining. Good evening, all from the UK. Trevor Weedle, Luis Jimenez, thanks so much. Let's see. Darth Balrog is here. New distraction. What's up, bro? Ryan Pum. Will with sleeves. Defuck something is, yeah, dude, 100%. Defuck something ain't right. Sorry, I'm trying to read too fast. Kiko's daddy said, where's my son? Who knows, bro? Who knows where Kiko is? This is unacceptable. Army of 80s, dude. Honestly, I think sometimes people like who don't watch the channel a ton, they see that I put those top 21 and people are like, this dude's so fucking dumb. But it's more just like, those are my opinions. And I know some of them are going to be somewhat controversial, but I have to stick to my guns and be like, it just is what it is. So, Conquer Knight, thanks so much. Darth Drez, thanks so much. Guys, I just want to say before we get started, I'm going to be a little bit sentimental here. I love this community so much. Like, I'm not saying this just to bullshit. Like, this is probably like a little bit too personal. I'm not usually this type, but like I've been going through a rough breakup recently. And so hopefully my videos have still seemed pretty like upbeat and positive and optimistic, but I can just tell you guys what's really kept me going through a lot of it is like you guys, like the messages I get on Instagram and the comments I get, like it really is very heartwarming. And it's really the best thing I have going for me in my life right now. So besides my family, of course, but you know, it's a really nice thing. And so I really appreciate you guys supporting me and being, you know, so friendly and supportive and just communal with me. So Kiko's here. What's up, Kiko? How you doing, man?
So I guess I just left you out there struggling for 15, 13 minutes.
I was on a whole thing, dude. Yeah, man. Because like basically we just started like a couple minutes ago. So we just started like we're 3 minutes in. But Dean is MIA. So I don't know where Dean is.
Well, at least I texted you. You
were gone. So yeah, you were gone. So I was like, well, I texted Optical. He could jump in if we need him. But so we'll have a third. But and if not, you know, we can always just you know, we can always just have a fourth if Dean decides to join us. But Kiko, dude, love the wallpaper behind you.
Thank you. What did I miss though? And you said you were having a segment.
I was having a whole thing because I needed to fill airtime, so I just aired my dirty laundry personal life. And I told people that I had been going through a rough breakup, and I appreciated their support in this difficult time, particularly from you, Kiko. You know, you and I have been texting this whole time, and you know, it's like, yeah, it's been a rough time, you know, for a while now. You know me better than everyone. I haven't shared it publicly with people because I didn't feel like, you know.
Well, hopefully people aren't watching this stream.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, even if so, I mean, like, again, it's no hard feelings, man. But I'm just saying, like, I was just wanting to say to people, like, how much I appreciate their support and how it's kept me going through this whole time because it's just been very challenging. Yeah, I told him I was like, the best thing I have going in my life right now is my friends and family and this channel and what people, you know, so
I won't make you rehash that. And sorry that you had to do episode 2 essentially of saying
it's all good, man. So. It's all good. Hey, you know, it's all good. I appreciate you guys being here for me. But Kiko, how's your Friday been, man? Everything good?
Yeah. I have some breaking news. Well, I think I can. I don't really know if I'm allowed.
Did you buy the J&D?
Hell no. But J&D what?
J&D Joker.
No, why would I do that?
I don't know.
Well, I told you that it's not like I can't really say. Anyway, I got that promotion at work, which I'm really excited about.
You did?
Yeah,
dude.
So that's another reason why my time's been a little more less available, I suppose, just because there's more things to do that I have to be working on.
Sure.
And hopefully no people that, you know, were candidates and didn't find out yet are watching this stream and they found that out just now. That would be terrible. I have doubts too, but either way, so that's been my Friday. Transitioning officially into that new role and just trying to figure out how that all works. And it's not because I'm also redoing the collection room, as you may have seen on my Instagram, which is why I'm in here, because I have that giant table in there, so there's no place for me to put. And we're curating, Will. That's what we're doing.
It is, dude. Honestly, I've been going through such an internal crisis with that process right now, because I was like, do I get more Maji cases for a future living situation, or do I stick with what I have?
Figures all over the place.
Dude, I love how Kiko, you got a promotion and your life's going so well. Mine's like,
no, it's not like that.
Like, we're pendulum swings, dude. But no, I'm upset you didn't tell me sooner. That's the only thing I'm upset about.
Well, because they like are extremely like tight-lipped on like until things are officially announced, because it won't be officially announced till Monday. So I know people do follow me on like Instagram and things like that, and so I don't want. I even risked saying it here. Like, I guess I could have texted you, but.
It's okay, dude. It's fine. I'm happy for you at the end of the day. But yeah, man, I'm glad you're curating. That's good. We'll talk somewhat about that today. So yeah, it'll be a good thing. But yeah, man, it's awesome, dude. I'm excited that we're gonna have a good show. And I'm assuming Dean's asleep, but I think Optical is gonna join us. So I've never had to send a link midstream like this, but I'm gonna have to send it to Optical right now. But yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. We got Terminator chat. We got Blitzway announced a DeLorean from part 2, which I don't know. I have my reservations about that. Like, I just don't understand why, because Hot Toys has already done it. They've done multiple DeLoreans now.
Done all 3.
Yeah, right. So not sure why that's exactly happening. Kiko, we got it. For the people, I think we need to explain ourselves on third party. We need to talk about that further.
Do we ever have to explain ourselves to anyone?
I think so.
We answer to no one, Will.
That's true. But I will say what I think is important is like whether people agree or disagree with us. I think it's a good conversation regardless, because I think they're still going to disagree with us when we explain. But I think it's going to be worthwhile to have that conversation again. So
I love the sequels. They're always sometimes better than the originals.
So we'll talk about that. Remakes 2.0s. We'll talk about that as well. But yeah, man. So I appreciate you being here, and the whole chat is proud of you. So happy to have you here, dude. But I guess we'll just jump into our first topic, man. There'll be 2 of us. We'll jump right in. We used to do that. Remember the Lights Camera Collect back in the day? It was 2 people. Remember, and I did it.
I love you're the only person I get to interrupt. I don't have to interrupt anybody else. And so people might like this format better. You never know. Let us know, people, if you like just the banter back and forth. I don't have to interrupt anybody. The only
do you know what they do like the most, Kiko, is all 4 of us here.
I know.
They like all 4 of us. I've seen all the comments, but it's challenging because it's hard to get everyone's opinions in. And like, I think I'm going to try to get Natalie and Dean to do it once a month, so we can do it once a month, have all 4 of us, because I think that would be fun. It's particularly maybe in a lighter news week, because then the reason I think a lot of people have those bigger panels is because it requires less preparation. Like you don't have to make as many topics. So, because everyone's going to say the same thing for 9 people in a row. So that's the problematic.
No hate, by the way. Just saying, that's why.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, like, if those are your panel strategies, like, I think the problem is for this show, the conversation doesn't flow as well. I think there's a lot of great streams out there that do it really well, but I think it's just for us, it doesn't really work as well. But
I love talking over people, so that's my thing. That's my
exactly. So we're gonna continue on, Kiko. Let's just start with the announcement of Clean Terminator T800 2.0. And then eventually, I sent you the show doc. I know you got your promotion, so you might have been a little bit busy, but I'm going to try to keep it separate from the battle damage one, because we're going to have a separate topic dedicated to the comparisons between the 2, which is preferable if you can only choose one, and so forth. I'm getting both. I can just spoil the lead right there. I'm going to get both of these, Kiko, and I'm super excited about that. I will say, though, the question needs to be asked. Is it everything we wanted? Because, Kiko, I really like this head sculpt, but I don't know if I really love it. I think it's good, but I think it could be better. And we know they were very tight-lipped, as you remember in the interview. InArt could possibly have the license for Terminator. And if they do, that creates a whole other situation. But regardless, that's a whole can of worms we don't have to get into today. Kiko, is the 2.0 Terminator clean version everything that we were hoping for as collectors? What are your thoughts?
Seeing it now, I think 2 things. Whenever we see things at conventions and panels and such where they put prototypes up, I think we need to just assume that is not what it's going to be, because this is vastly different from that, obviously. And as same thing with the T800. So I think we really need to just step back as collectors and say, when you see, there you or that's
because there it was, yeah.
But the thing they did at AGCJHK, whatever that one's called, and you saw it for the first time, is that people started freaking out, saying it's the same. It's just same thing with the T800 battle damage. sometimes they're just fill-in slots. So I don't think we need to be making official judgment calls on these things ever again until we see these actual reveal photos. So hold your horses, people, on that. Now, if you are now this is what everyone wanted was the Gatling gun. That was a big thing that people were really excited about, and that people miss on the battle damage piece potentially. Now, here's my thing, Will, and then you and I will disagree on this.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of knowing the film and the franchise, this literally is just Arnold Schwarzenegger, and there's it looks cool, extremely badass, iconic for people like you and me. But if you're going to have to decide between the two, it's undeniably Terminator when you see the battle damage one, because you see the endoskeleton and all that stuff. And yeah, you got the little top that pops off. You can see the part of his head on this one too. That's cool. But if you're going to which one do I want, this or the battle damage? If it had the bike, then I could maybe say, okay, I have to have this one. That would be different. But to me, I don't know if there's enough difference between this to where I rephrase. I don't know if there's enough driving me to say I have to have the clean one too. If you already have the battle damage either in stock already or you've pre-ordered that one. Now, there'd be plenty of people that'll get both and the T1000, and more power to you, whatever you need to be doing. But he's just Arnold at this point, guy in black jacket, very cool. But I don't know if it's got it definitely has more presence than Nathan Drake. I know you may fight me on that one too.
No, I think it does. I would agree with you. I think it does.
Because it's better than Man in Flannel. This is
Man in the khakis.
This is Man in jacket. But is it everything you wanted? I guess that's subjective. I mean, who can answer that but the person?
I hate the base, Kiko. I don't like the base.
I'm glad it's a hexagonal as opposed to the
like a big
blocks.
diorama.
I don't like no. I don't like the blocks, like the Star Wars blocks. I don't like those.
Oh yeah. Like they're like a rectangle or
I like the hexagonals because you can lock it. Like especially if you have a bunch of Avengers figures. That's I guess a couple Star Wars. When I'm looking at Luke right now, he's got the hexagonal base. I don't mind this, and I saw a lot of people saying, it's scene specific in the with the other two, with T1000 and battle damage.
Yeah.
What other base would you do for this? A road? I mean, then people would complaining again, saying, "Oh, it's the Mark 7 again, all over."
They would reuse that,
because I mean, it's a sweet base, with all the machine gun shells on the bottom. I mean, I actually think wasn't that the original Terminator base that they reused for the Mark 7?
I think it was, yeah. Or I guess you couldn't. The DX13 base, the original one, you couldn't use that because that is scene specific. But that would be kind of cool, just to even reuse that. That's better than this. I will say the one good thing about this, Kiko, it's not going to take up space.
Correct.
That's
Which
the good
is why
thing.
I like the hexagonals, because you can interlock them.
Right. And also considering you're going to have, I mean, you and I know we're going to have T1000, we're going to have battle damage, which have big diorama bases. Mm-hmm. And then you got this. So it's like, this would be a little bit easier to deal with. Sure. I think you're right about the bike being a miss. The missing aspect being the bike. Again, that would have raised the price by several $100s though. Yeah. Like you probably would have had $300 to $400 on top of that for a bike. I mean, or maybe less, maybe $250, $300, whatever. It's going to be significant. I would love to have it though. I'm assuming there's some sort of licensing though. It's a Harley. Sure. Like I'm assuming it's kind of like, how Miles didn't have the Nikes on his shoe, the Nike logo. It might be like that. It might be like, but even if they gave you a bike with no like identifiable characteristics, you'd be like, okay, cool. It's a bike. It's fine. It gets the job done. Like, but I think it looks great though, Kiko. I'm super happy with. I already pre-ordered it with Josh. I just think the likeness is pretty good. I love the genuine leather. That's fantastic. Like you've mentioned though before, it's going to be rigid. It's not going to pose as well. And the original, I don't know if you had the MMS, the original clean Arnold. I did, not the DX10, but the other one. That one did not pose well. Like it was very tight. It was very tight. And now you got real leather. So this one's going to not probably pose that great. I can just tell people that up front. But again, how dynamic do you really need to be?
I was going to say, I mean, that with the exception of raising your arms, I don't think you need a dynamic.
I think 90% of people are going to put the Gatling gun in his hands. Like I think that's what's going to happen.
See, for me, it would be the with the flower boxes,
the rose box.
I think
that's hard to get that pose right, to get it to lay right, because it's going to fall. Like it's like, I mean, you could find a way to do it, but is anyone going to use the endo arm? It has like this weird seam. Like
well, here's the other thing is that people always ask for so many add-ons and things that make zero sense. And for one, they give you the two alternate shirts, which is fine, whatever. But do you realize how much of a bitch it is to swap out clothes?
Oh, it
on
fucking
something like
sucks.
this?
Yeah.
It'd be terrible. And now add in taking all this off and swapping out the arm. I mean, that's suicide, if you ask me. Like, I would never want to do that. Like, let's put that bitch back in the box.
That's why I feel like that's the one thing I hate about reviews. I feel like I'm the worst reviewer. Sometimes if that happens, I'll be like, guys, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. Like Joker's tongue, I was like, I'm not putting that bitch in because I'm not fucking up the hair. I was like, I already moved the eyes slightly. That was enough for me. That was enough danger for my day. I was like, I'm not popping this tongue in. Like, for one, I don't think it looks good. And two, it's too much. Like, I'm just not doing it. But I will say, Kiko, I'm assuming he's going to come with the black shirt pre-installed. That would be my assumption. And then if he does, even I know with the Gatling gun, he had like the gray pinkish shirt on. I'll probably just leave the black one on. And like, I'm just going to be like, it's fine. Like, it doesn't have to be completely accurate.
Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
Like, it looks better here because that's more scene accurate. But I wish that I know diorama bases take up a lot of space. I wish this one were a little bit better of a base. It looks really half-assed to me, but hey, what are you going to do? I can say, Kiko, I know for a fact though, if InArt announces they have the license for T2 somehow, Hot Toys will update their head sculpt. They'll be like, well, we got an update on this Arnold and it's even better. Like, I assume they will, but we'll talk about the whole battle damage thing, but this is basically DX10 and the MMS, I think 117 combined. That's really what it is. So $290 though, that's a good price.
For sure.
It's a good price. I like that. I don't know what that seam is on the endo arm though. Like, I have like, you can see it's not a joint. There's like a seam right there in the bottom there. And you can see it on display at Secret Base, which is very weird. Like, I don't know. No one really seems to know what it is. So,
Will, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around it, did it really fall? Same thing. No one's going to be using this arm, so no one cares.
It is pretty cool, but that's true. But if you're going to have an Arnold in your display, are really going to put it up with that? Unless you bought two of this figure. Otherwise, no.
Sure. If you're that guy, then sure, by all means. But like, do you really like, man, I'd love to show this battle damage arm as opposed to the black jacket. Like, at that point, just go get the fucking battle damage at that point.
Kiko, I want to say he looks too tan, but I think it's just the editing of the photos. I think it's just like, you know how Prime 1 sometimes does that, they like really raise like their like the saturation slider. Yeah. And like that's what's happening here, I think, too. People say the glasses are a little bit of a miss. I think they're close. I mean,
some people need to go touch grass, honestly.
I think
and for all the people, it's like, you paying this much for it, it should look perfect. Fine, whatever. But that's going to stop you from buying it. Don't lie to yourself.
Did we get confirmation, Kiko, that the belt is leather? I know it says genuine leather clothing. Did we get?
I mean, it was never. As I said, there is no DX13 that's falling apart because they use some different type of materials. The only thing that ever falls apart is the belt. So hopefully they upgraded that for you. But
that shot looks good. I see the sculpt there though. With that shot, I see it. Like, we're good. Dude, I got to use the gun, Kiko, the Gatling gun. I got to use it. But the rose box is going to be dope.
Then, Will, I know you. Are you really going to do that and bend the arm to where there could be creasing in the sleeve?
It's genuine leather this time, so we should be good. So we should be set.
Well, I don't know if you watched my latest video about the difference in genuine leathers. So
no, I didn't. I got to watch that. I did see the one. I did see the part about Red Hawk, but I don't think I saw the other part. I have to.
Yeah, I basically talked about the upgrades that aren't coming and the differences between there's two different types of leather, and I guarantee you that Hot Toys is taking the cheap route. So,
well, as long as it doesn't flake, I'm happy. So,
well, I mean, you might be surprised. So,
yeah,
go watch my video, everybody.
But yeah, dude, yeah, guys, check out Kiko's video when you're done watching the stream. I will say, Kiko, $290, like I said,
it's a good deal.
I think it's fair. It's a good deal. You got a big Arnold body here, probably a reuse body from the original, and then there's been theories, Kiko, that they're going to make Tech Noir, Police Shootout, Sarah Connor. I'm not so sure. I don't know. Maybe that would be cool, but I'm not so sure they're going to go that deep. That would be great. I would love to see a Tech Noir and a Police Shootout 2.0. I have reservations about Sarah Connor and John Connor. I'm not so sure. What do you think?
They've tried all those with Genesis and Salvation, trying to add additional figures, and none of them ever sold. So,
right.
I mean, granted, those aren't the same as most popular film, but I think most people, they want the main bad guy and the main good guy, and side characters are side pieces at this point. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be holding my breath on that.
Well, Optical 20 is here. What is up?
Finally saving our ass.
I know, the king of preview videos. How you doing, Optical?
Hey, just saving the world one stream at a time. So
yeah, dude, you got to do what you got to do. And I know Kiko's gonna be disappointed. Optical, you're kind of an InArt shell now. You liked your InArt Aragorn.
Yeah, if you it's all over my face now.
Clearly. And InArt Superman, Kiko. You didn't hear about that. Optical likes both.
Don't care.
I got John's face tattooed on my back now.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
my lower back, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, dude, that's the perfect place for it. Optical, we got to weigh in though before we move on this one. What do you think? Is this the Terminator that everyone wanted? Did Hot Toys deliver a great figure here with the prototype? What do you think?
You know, initially I thought it was fine, and then a lot of people pointed out some details about it, because when it comes out at 12 a.m. I'm excited about it, and I'm kind of sleepy.
I'm in bed.
So I was just like, well, this looks good, but I mean, I'll take any Terminator at this point, honestly. I'll take any. I mean, what are my options? Get another Captain America or something like that.
You get another gold Iron Man. You get one of those.
The hair is better. The glasses, they said it was wrong. So I get that.
This looks close enough though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, they're glasses. Like
we have enough time. We have enough time. Like glasses. They could change it. They could change it. The clothes, it is what it's leather, so it's gonna be thicker. That's what we wanted, and that's what we got. Like, I have the Wolverine. It's leather. It's nice, but it's not form fitting. I mean, that's the trade off that we're getting.
Right.
If you don't want to flake, then that's what it is. But I mean, so far, I mean, it looks good. I think it's priced decently. Is it a big change if you have the DX10? This DX10?
Nope.
No, not
You don't
really.
think so, Kiko? You don't think it's that different?
No. I'm not. As I've said before, not trying to interrupt Optical, but going back even like to the Jack Sparrow, if you already have one, do you really want to pay? Because you're not going to get market value back for it trying to sell it.
No.
So you're going to take a loss. So is it really worth a $300 upgrade? Only you can answer.
But Optical and Kiko, the DX13, I am upgrading. Kiko, are you upgrading on that one too?
I have 2 of them already. Why would I do that?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm getting it. I need it. I need the new one.
And it's going to look exactly the same, Will. And you're going to be like, best figure I've ever had in my hand.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Best figure this week. Yeah.
I mean, worst case scenario, just playing devil's advocate here. Let's say you have the DX10 and you're getting that DX13 2.0. I mean, I purchased a whole new body to create a new Arnold for that. So maybe use your old DX10 to, create a new DX13.
That's actually brilliant, Optical. I can use the old DX13, put the new head on it.
Right.
And hopefully the skin tones match. But
now you gotta buy boots and another.
But if I already have the body, I can just use that old figure. And then
because I remember what is this TTM 20 or something like that back in the day, when you have this Arnold body where specifically you buy that to create a new one. I bought separate pants and whatnot. But I mean, if you have DX10 like DX15, like Kiko was saying, maybe you don't have to, depending on how big of a fan you are. This is not a situation of like a huge massive upgrade that you have to. But I guess if you are just a big fan, you're not gonna go to sleep knowing that it was like, oh God, there's one with a leather jacket, and mine is not, so.
Right. It's
in my opinion, the last 2 great 2.0s were Winter Soldier Cap, I guess Bucky. We'll have to see how that comes out. Yeah. And the Dark Knight Joker, because that one from the DX11 to I guess 32 or whatever that was, those were enough changes to where you're like, wow, it warrants it. All these other ones, like, I just don't see it, honestly, other than just saying, oh, it's new.
Darth Maul, though.
Bane.
So.
That
Bane,
is the ultimate.
Bane, Bane's another. We have a whole topic on that, so save that one. Yeah, we have a whole topic on that. But Kiko raises a very valid point there. But something I want to bring up, I want to show you guys something. I put this together while I was at work because it was super slow. So these are my general thoughts on the matter, and we're going to transition to our next topic on this one. A lot of collectors, Kiko and Optical, have talked about whether they can get both figures. I've seen a lot of people saying they're only getting one. I've seen people say they're choosing the clean, they're choosing the battle damage, whatever the case may be. For me, I tried to be as fair and reasonable as possible here in my assessments. And I took a couple like broad categories or several broad categories and just kind of picked out each one of which I think is preferable. And we can go into other aspects as well. If you were asking me, Kiko, I'd go battle damage. If you had to pick just one, I would go battle damage. But I do think the battle damage has a greater presence. It certainly has a better base. I think it somehow has a better head sculpt. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the battle damage, but I think the clean version is more iconic, probably a better value because you're getting it for $290. And it has, I think, probably even better accessories because you got the Gatling gun and other cool weapons that it comes with. But Kiko, which one, if you could only choose one, deserves a spot in people's collections? What are your thoughts?
I mean, not trying to beat a dead horse, but we already talked about that. I think it is the battle damage. And here's my thing when it comes to accessories. Who the fuck cares at some point? Because you're only displaying like one. And so if it's like, you're like, look at all my accessories. What, to sit in the damn box? Like, what are you going to do with it? Do you want to display them all out like Justin does? Like, here they all are, but that actually be your display. Like, what is the point of having all that? Well, it's just to have the option. Okay, you picked one. And now look at all the other different pieces you have just literally sitting there being wasted. I've come around on the accessories thing. Like for all the people, it's like, oh, we only got 3 hands. How many more do you need? Because you're not going to use them. Don't lie to yourself. So that's my other thing. But I do think it is the battle damage because, as I said, this is man in black jacket. If you were just a complete nobody someone walking into your collection, oh, sweet, look at that. Oh, that's Dark Vader. I know him. Oh,
Dark Vader.
Yeah, that's Dark Vader. I know that. Oh, who is man in leather jacket? But if you walk over to the battle damage, you're like, ooh, is that Terminator? That's the difference.
Okay. You don't think people would recognize Arnold in just the regular outfit?
Well, Arnold, yeah, but you see the point I'm saying?
I do, in general. Yeah.
In general, is that I want, and because it even comes down to like, I don't know if there's anything cooler than like a half metal endoskeleton face. That is really cool. And there's no getting around that. That is one of the coolest things ever.
Well, Kiko, DX13 is one of the best Hot Toys, one of the best action figures ever produced.
Which is why I'm not upgrading, because I see if I have that already, there's no need other than the base.
You're going to die on this hill, dude. I'm telling you, it's going to be better, Kiko. It's going to be better. Okay. It's just like the Darth Maul, dude. It's going to be good.
Which is not better. I already told you.
Yeah. Optical, dude. Weigh in on this one. What do you think? If there's one spot in the collection, are you going battle damage or are you going clean?
I have a rule. It's always battle damage, whatever it might be.
Okay.
Terminator, Iron Man, Spider-Man.
Endgame Thanos is the one
I don't. Infinity War Thanos beats Endgame Thanos, in my opinion. But are you talking about Endgame Thanos to Endgame Thanos? Then I would say
Endgame to Endgame. Let's say.
Okay, yeah.
I still went battle damage on that Thanos. I sold my clean one because I mean, if I could have displayed, I had at one point I had 3 Thanos, which is ridiculous. But it's always battle damage for me. Like whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
I don't know. They just have some grit on him. Like it just feels more. And also, if you damage it, there's more personality to it. It feels like it's just like I don't know. And also if you happen to scratch his jacket or something, then no one would notice.
That's actually great. Yeah, right. Yeah, compared to optical, like a super clean figure, like the clean one, like if you somehow scratch a hole in the leather or something, you're gonna be like, God damn it. But with the battle damage, you're like, it looks like it's supposed to be there.
My figure's flaking. No, it's supposed to be that way.
Exactly. People will say that. Remember with Mando's cape? Originally, they were like, is Mando's cape supposed to have the hole in it?
There's a hole in the back.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I was like, yeah.
He's too weathered now. He didn't look like this.
That was Chrome Mando. A lot of people were removing their chrome. I remember that. Yeah. They're removing the weathering. Sorry, not the chrome. They were removing the weathering. But optical, look, man, I think both of these are incredible. I'm getting both. I know you're getting both. Kiko, you're not getting either, I guess, right?
No, I have 2 that are showing the DX13 because I have one with the full missing the arm and then the one that looks just like this.
But they're not as good. That's the thing.
Okay. neither is your Jack Sparrow to DX15. Neither is the Darth Maul. It's the same shit. I'm not paying $500 for a minimal upgrade when I already have it.
It's not minimal though. I'm telling you.
To you then. Will.
Jack Sparrow is really good, Kiko. I'm telling you.
Bullshit. I saw somebody the other day, and this is the best way to put it, and we can move on from Jack Sparrow, and I'll let that one float to sea, is that they said if you are going for the actual Dead Man Tell No Tails look, the DX15 is the older looking sculpt. If you want a younger Jack, the DX or whatever, the Artisan one, has a more youthful look. So if you want the more, don't be pulling that up. Oh, I thought you were about to pull up your.
No.
I was like, damn you. So I think because it's a Dead Man Tells No Tale display that I have the accurate faceplate. So that's it. I'm done.
That could be fair. That could be a fair point. So, but yeah, I mean, look at these, both of them. These, I mean, these could actually be the old versions, but I don't know for all I know. But Sideshow did display these optical, and I think optical. The only thing I don't like, I was telling Kiko before you arrived, is the base on the new one, the clean one. It's like it looks very basic and old. Like it just doesn't look like a newer Hot Toys base to me.
To be fair, they also the price is kind of basic as well.
Exactly, $290. I guess because if you give a diorama base, it's probably $310 at that point, or especially if it's light up, $320.
Right. I'm guessing from their perspective, if this is the price, you got to get an Iron Man kind of, or a Captain America kind of base, you know.
And I think I already bought a custom base back in the day that has like Terminator 2 logo on it because I was going to do another DX13, so I can just use that and put this new Terminator on it, and it's going to be. Dude, I can't wait to get these DX. The new DX13, the clean T1000. We were saying, I don't think they're going to make Sarah Connor and John Connor. People seem to be convinced. I'm not so convinced.
I don't think so, because I don't know. I feel like Marvel is going to make a comeback at around halfway through. Let's say the Fantastic Four. If you don't have any Terminator, I feel like this is not going to last.
No,
like this RoboCop, Terminator, Predator that we're getting. I hope it does, but I feel like as soon as Marvel gets it, if they ever do, then we would see less and less of these things. It's just the market is dry right now when it comes to the big three. So
that's fair. Well, guys, we need to talk about something really important. There's a guy named Red Hawk that just appeared in the new Captain America film, Brave New World. I saw the film. I wasn't a huge fan. Optical, did you see Captain America 4 yet?
Is it on Disney Plus yet?
No, not yet. It's not on Disney Plus.
Not yet.
Okay, gotcha. That's fair. I should have known better. I should have known and asked that. But I will say I saw it and I thought it was okay. There were some people actually that took exception to my take on that because I posted. I was just like, look, it's not the worst film I've ever seen. I just described it as sub-mid Optical. I think it was like a little bit below average. Like I just think it wasn't a great movie. There were great moments in it, but I just didn't quite enjoy it. But what I did enjoy was Red Hawk. I thought Harrison Ford was great, and I thought Red Hawk's performance, just his presence and the fight scene that you get at the end of the film, is actually really good. It was really fun. I'm hoping Harrison Ford shows up in future Marvel installments as Red Hawk. But Kiko, I know you did a whole video tying this piece of news into that topic that you were presenting. But are the collectors' expectations unrealistic? Because a lot of people were expecting a fully seamless body for Hawk, akin to like the Queen Studio statue, the 1/3 Hawk that they made that's fully seamless.
The ones for $3,000, yeah.
Exactly. So people were expecting to see not visible joints on this Hawk figure, but apparently that's what's going to happen. So Kiko, is this figure going to satisfy collectors in its current state? And are our expectations unrealistic? What do you think?
Funny. Are collectors going to be satisfied? Will, come on. Tell me a satisfied collector. Are the expectations unrealistic? Yes, because they're not practical. The entire concept and premise of my video was 5 upgrades that people demand for their figures that are never coming. And why? And I feel like I laid out a pretty decent explanation. And the biggest one is that for a character, everyone's like, well, look at Bane. Look at Bane. You know, look how crazy it is. Well, how's your Bane posed right now?
Armed by the side.
Exactly. People are terrified. They're like, they want this silicone stuff, but as soon as they get them, they don't do anything with it because we know that silicone does degrade over time. You do have to treat it with powders and all kinds of different other things to maintain medical grade silicone. And someone else also in my comments said that it's not silicone, it's some other type of thing. But regardless, if you want something without joints, that's fine. But for a figure like this with shoulders that are that thick, outside of just the museum pose, you're not going to be able to move it because it is just too much material. And to expect otherwise is silly. So for the people that are saying, I need to be able to, and then if you remember Age of Ultron, the power pose, like
that's what I was going to suggest.
The second piece, that's fine if you want that. And I appreciate having an option for something different. But I don't know where this idea is. I need to have maximum realness. It's got to look. It's a fucking toy, people. But for these prices, it should be looking incredible. I shouldn't have to be paying this and not get. Well, don't buy it then, bitch. And so here's my thing.
Okay.
Like, it's a damn action figure for one. It's a hot toy. And if you want the Hulk to move his arms and not be museum pose, this is what you're getting. And I know people are just so adamant thinking that no, they can do it. They can do it. Then why doesn't anybody ever pose their fully silicone Bane? And imagine, Will, Imagine the amount of product in the shoulders to be able to lift that on a metal frame. It's not going to happen for the Hulk, at least. Maybe later on, but you're not getting a seamless Hulk. And not for the cost that you're hoping to pay. You're like, well, Queen Studio, yeah, $3,000. Okay, enjoy. And then I do want to know, how posable is that Queen Studio one? How posable is it? Do you know?
Yeah, it does articulate, I think, at the arms. So at the forearms and stuff, and the neck and stuff like that. So I don't know. No one has it in hand yet. So we'll see, I guess. I'm not getting it.
But I guarantee you're not able to do a Hulk smash by any means.
Probably
I guarantee
not.
you.
Yeah, probably not. But that's why, Kiko, I think I'm with you 100% on the idea that in our non-articulated swappable torso, I think like they did with Age of Ultron, and they've already done that with a Bucky Winter Soldier with the arms, right? With the interchangeable arms. Optical, yeah, Thanos, optical. I would be fully on the same page. Kiko, you and I differ on this one. I want that ultimate realism, but I also try to be realistic, right? I try to understand, like saying, like, hey, I know that this Red Hawk, it's a much bigger figure than Bane. I will tell you, I did have my Bane in the arms out pose for a while, and it looked absolutely incredible, but I did get nervous. I was like, okay, let me switch it back. And I even asked Justin, I was like, Justin, what do you think? He was like, I would just be cautious. And I was like, okay, let's put his arms back down. So, we just don't know at this stage. We don't. That's what Justin said. Like, it could hold up fine, it could not, but you don't know. And that's the problem. Like,
and that's the thing for the people that and I think it's not about Red Hulk. It's about real Hulk. Because they're like, if I get my my Avengers Hulk reissue, I want it to be seen. People don't care about Red Hulk, honestly. If they're going to say, I need a Hulk in my collection, they're going with the green Hulk. And so when people saw this, they're like, whoa, I guess we aren't going to be getting a seamless one. Because if they made a seamless Red Hulk, then I could believe that a seamless, Avengers Hulk was coming down the line. So this just shows that, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Optical, what do you think about this? Where do you stand on this one?
I mean, I had both Hulks, and until somebody actually does a quarter scale, because we've seen this in 1/6, like Bane, Hellboy. I'm looking at Hellboy right now. Imagine Hellboy's red too, and Hellboy is heavy. If you had Hellboy, he's 1/6 and is heavy. Imagine this guy, and I believe Hulk was ratcheted too on his legs and whatnot.
Yes.
I don't know about the arms. I think that maybe not, but yeah, you're putting a lot of stress in here. So you can never make a collector happy. If you make it all seamless, it's going to be expensive and it can't move. So you got this group on one side where it'll be like, well, I can't even raise his arms. This is not like Hulk. This is like Hulk with, it's like, well, you asked for seamless. It was like, well, it's expensive. Well, okay, we were going to put joints. Well, we want realism. I mean, that saying where you can only pick 2 out of 3, like, cheap or, so that's how it works in here. Like, they're still a business. They're trying to make this. I'm guessing this would be around 400, 450 for every.
Oh, it'd be more than that, bro. It'd be more.
What do you mean if it were seamless? If it were seamless,
even if not, because I remember Hulk was like $399.
Falcon is almost 400. He's going to be almost 400. Easy to be 5.
You think it's going to be 5? Wow, that's like Carnage prices at that point.
Yeah,
I mean that's
exactly. Look at the size.
Yeah, maybe.
So at that point, you're going to be like, so imagine making that seamless. So what are we looking at? 700, 800 for Red Hulk? Maybe if there's any figure that they would try that on, maybe it's the actual Hulk.
You'd have to make him Artisan.
Right.
You'd have to give him rooted hair and a fully seamless body. And
Yeah, but not for this guy right here. And even at that would be a QC nightmare because no one has ever done that on a toy. Imagine if they do that, somebody poses it for a month with arms straight up, and then they'll get all this return from Sideshow saying, hey, my shoulder ripped. I was like, yeah, because you post a quarter scale silicone body.
Don't you remember the Mando? The baby Grogu with like the articulation thing?
The chin.
There it is, right there. That stuff snaps. I mean, silicone and stretch joints or stretch points or whatever, they're going to work against you as a collector. So you really have to decide on how much realism is acceptable for you as a collector.
Yeah, I would like more realism. I will say that. So for me,
who doesn't?
But right. I would say though, because Kiko, I view it a little bit differently. I know, like you said, they're toys. Like it is in the name. I do agree with you there, but I do go after these figures for their realism. So for me, that's why, I've been the longest proponent, like Optical, of the non-articulated swappable arms or something similar. Like with Gore, for example, I think that would have made that figure a figure of the year contender. Like how good the head sculpt is and the outfit. If you give him non-articulated arms, I think that would have been like an incredible figure. I think it just. And I don't like visible joints. So, but Venom has them. You can kind of pose them away. I think with Red Hawk, you can pose these away. You can probably work with it. It's still going to look fantastic. It's just not quite as high end as people wanted. But Kiko, like you said, if it's already 450 to 500, you make it fully seamless, it's 650 minimum probably. So, I don't know. And you'd have to get a custom. But again, if they did it, then they could reuse the body for Hulk, like regular Hulk, and then just use, just change it green. So, but I don't know. Hey, it's still going to be great. I'm probably not going to get it either way. I mean, I like the film. I like some parts of the film rather, but, and Red Hawk was cool, but he's just going to take up a lot of room, and I don't really need him. But a lot of people want him. So I'm happy for those people. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for your thoughts on that one. Clayton Stitt, super chat. Will, I know you've heard this, but watch Blue-Eyed Samurai, man. I watched it recently. Unreal. I bought VTS 1.6. Give it a try, man. Dude, I've actually watched about half of the first episode, but I just lost track of time, and I really enjoyed it, actually. I thought it was really good. I'm a sucker for samurai stuff. I mean, I got Jin Sakai right up there, and I'm super into that. So I'm definitely down to watch it. Maybe I'll watch some of it tonight. But anyway, guys, let's move on to our next topic. This one should be relatively quick, I would assume, but Blitzway. So Blitzway has teased a Back to the Future DeLorean 2, right? And my question is, I guess I have several questions about this. Why, what, when, where, how? But really the main one is this the time for this? Because Hot Toys has already made, like Kiko said, all 3 DeLoreans. And now you have a Mark II DeLorean that they've teased. And I just don't know, Optical and Kiko, like, is this the right decision? Do collectors really... Are they going to jump in and go for this? Is it going to be that much better than the Hot Toys to be worth it? Kiko, you have the Blitzway Ecto 1, from my understanding, right? So, is it that much better than Hot Toys vehicles to be worth it? What do you think?
Well, you're talking about 2 totally different licenses, for one, and
True.
to where there is no other option when it came to the Ecto 1. To me, I feel like there's 3 iconic vehicles of all time: the Ecto 1, the DeLorean, and the Batmobile. Those are the 3 most iconic vehicles ever made.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to have all 3 of those. And when Hot Toys originally did the first DeLorean, it was really, really cool. And so then when they said we're going to do the upgrade to the second one, the hovering, the lights and all that, I was all in on that one because I didn't have a DeLorean. I wanted a DeLorean, and that's what I got. Had some issues for sure because people talked about the wheels breaking. I didn't have any issues. People didn't like how you have to turn the light. You have to press the button under the hood to keep the lights on. So there's no way to keep it on unless you mod it, which that sucks. But then people started talking about all the inaccuracies and things like that. And I saw something on a post that regardless of market, there will always be somebody who will upgrade. Even if you already have it, there will always be those people. So I'm sure there'll be a market for it. But the practicality of it is that they've done all 3 from Hot Toys. Not 1, not 2, not 3, just like LeBron. But they did all 3. So outside of a few, and they already sold the sticker packs for people that wanted to do the upgrades to the hover version. And if you wanted to fix that, whatever. And I feel like outside of the sticker packs and having the lights always on or different types of light combinations, what else are you going to do that would warrant the price? Because I think the DeLorean was like $700-800, if I remember, something like that. Not cheap, for sure. Lots of space. What are you looking at? $1,200-1,300 potentially? And to me, like, if you already have one, once again, that is a hard thing to say. If you're going to go to somebody, it's like, hey, do you want to buy a DeLorean? Nah, I'm good. It's like a statue at that point. You can't move giant vehicles. And I just think that this is something that is going to be very select. There will be people that get it. Strange choice, because I know a lot of people want the Ecto 1, and I would be so happy if they wanted to do that for people. Like, I'm not going to be that person that gatekeep and say you don't need one because I already have mine. It's the Ecto 1. There's a lot of people that want that one, but this does not pique my interest at all.
Well, Kiko, they're supposed to reissue those Ghostbusters, which would be pretty cool. So maybe they'll do those. And they were supposed to. They showed that Billy Butcher, which I was really excited about. I thought that looked awesome. And then the Homelander too, they were going to make. So anything but Star Ace would be fantastic. I'll pick those up. The Blitzway
stuff is very interesting because they do a lot of teases, but they don't really ever come back to it because this is not new. We were told they were doing this, and they're like, it's not a date coming. It's not a prototype. It's literally just coming soon. Like, okay, thanks. You told us that. Like, I know it's going to snow tomorrow. So, like, same thing. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
Like, it's a waste of a post.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, Optical, what do you think? Is now the time for another DeLorean? Maybe it's more die cast, maybe better light up features. I don't know what they could improve. What are your thoughts?
Even if they are better, the question is, like, if Kiko doesn't want to upgrade from DX15
right
to the new Artisan,
yeah,
and the difference is what, like 300? If he sells that, maybe the difference is 100, right? Like, this is going to be a minimum of 1,200, right? I mean, and let's say it's better. It's more accurate. I guess there's always a market.
Actually goes back in time.
Yeah, actually go back to 1980s, but it makes you grow a mullet, but it does.
That'd be great.
I don't like, who's gonna buy this? The one who missed out on the DeLorean? They're still on sale, right? Like, you can still find DeLorean out there. Sometimes they're even on seconds. So it's a weird choice. If they really want to make money, they should have just really re-released Ghostbuster, like the figures, because Star Ace tried, and we know what happened there. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's gonna be hard, even if it's so much better than Hot Toys. I just don't see someone dipping twice on this. It'll be like, well, this is more accurate. It's kind of like the Batman from Jazz Inc. and Hot Toys. At least they went out side by side. They didn't wait. That's my thing with NR too. Why do you have to wait till Hot Toys announces theirs, and they'll be like, well, we have a BVS Batman too. Like, everyone pre-ordered already.
Right, exactly.
Like, dude, it
could be the same with Terminator. Yeah, it could end up being the same.
You're like
thing.
a year late. Like, this one's not even a year late. This is like 2-3 years late. It's like, dude, come on. Like, even if you're gonna compete, at least make it competitive. Like, make us think before we do pre-order. At this point, they're already collecting dust, and you'll be like, okay, I need 2 to collect dust. But I don't know. That's the reason why Blitzway has always been Blitzway in the 1/6 world. It's like, dude, come on.
Because they don't think ahead like Hot Toys do. But I mean, it's, but I would say Optical, I agree with you and Kiko. Like, I just don't know what they could do that could be better. But maybe they come out with it and everyone's like, wow, this is an incredible work of art, just like the Ecto 1, and I'm going to upgrade. But I mean, it's just, I think it's going to be at least $1,200. I think it's probably going to be like more like $1,300-$1,400, probably, like maybe even $1,500. So I don't know. I'm not the biggest Back to the Future fan. I mean, of course I watched it with Kiko and they were pretty solid, but I enjoyed them. But I just don't need a DeLorean in my collection personally. But a lot of people do, Kiko. And it was fun. We got to watch the third one, Kiko. We'll watch the third one when I come to Tennessee next time. But One Adam 12 is here. Thanks so much, bro. Kiko speaking more facts than the dictionary. So yeah, that's a good way to look at it. I guess the dictionary has facts, right? It's definitions. So that's. Or like a textbook. Textbook has facts. So those are also all facts, no printer, if people remember those good days. So Bozo Harry's here as well. Bozo, thanks so much, bro. This is actually a really compelling conspiracy right now. What is going on with the TVA jacket Wolverine? All photos of the seamless body have been removed from the Sideshow and Hot Toys website. And while you guys were talking, I did actually look it up, and this is true. We can verify this. On Sideshow's website, they've removed all the seamless body photos. I mean,
are we body shaming him?
Yeah, I guess so. I wonder if something happened, if maybe with the likeness of Hugh Jackman, where they couldn't.
I think we can blame Blake Lively for this one too.
You think that's what it is? Yeah.
Have you been following it over that?
No, I don't know anything what's happening. Yeah.
Basically, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are terrible people.
Ryan Reynolds is too. I knew Blake Lively was, but I didn't know about Ryan Reynolds.
That's a really messy situation.
Is it? Okay. Like, are those two good themselves?
Oh, they're good, but they use their power and influence for evil.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't know that. I thought Ryan Reynolds was a cool dude. I heard Blake Lively was a little bit questionable, but
no. Basically, he went in there with a god complex on the set and basically threatened this dude. Not trying to get off topic or whatever, but trying to ruin careers. And so all 3 of them are about to spend hundreds of millions of dollars in lawsuits. So enjoy.
Interesting. Well, I will say, I mean, as far as Wolverine's concerned, if you remove the seamless body, I think you're gonna have a lot of people canceling those pre-orders. I mean, that no one wants to put the fucking jacket on him. Like, nobody wants that. The reason you got it was for the seamless body. So that he's not thirst trap Wolverine without it. So I mean, I just don't understand. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, guys, let's move on to our next topic. Kiko's going to love this one. Hot Toys remakes. Are Hot Toys 2.0 figures better than new releases? And if so, or if not, what does this say about collectors? I want to show some recent 2.0 announcements, and some of them actually, guys, have been releases as well. Jack Sparrow, the Darth Maul, the Joker, and I think that's all of them as of now. The other ones have not. I thought about putting Kiko, Artisan, Anakin on here because he kind of is a 2.0. I mean, he's basically Revenge of the Sith 2.0. I just ran out of space though, so I was like, we'll just leave him off here for now. But a lot of good stuff, Kiko. You and I are going to differ on this one, but a lot of good stuff has been announced. Some of it released. Very exciting stuff. Are the 2.0 figures, Kiko, more exciting and just better than the new releases? And if so, what does that say about us?
I don't know exactly what the question is you're asking, particularly about what does it say about collectors. I think it says about collectors, they're going to do whatever that makes them feel good. When logic needs to be applied, it gets thrown out the window, and his name's Will. So
yeah, I'll buy a J&D, dude.
So it's literally this or that. If you're looking at this list, just pulling out some randoms or whatever, the armored Batman, I feel like not much there, not much upgrade. The Jack Sparrow, I know you don't believe that, but literally it's just the head, a little bit different. Kind of the same situation with the Mark 43, just a really nice head sculpt. Yeah, better die-cast parts and lights or whatever. But the only things I'm looking on here that are legit upgrades, because even people didn't like the Batman 89, T1000, the Captain America,
Bucky for sure.
Bucky and Joker, and everything else, is not updated enough. Everyone's like, well, what about Artisan Tom? How many more, Tom Holland sculpts do you need? And because it's an Artisan figure, and I don't think they did a sculpted version for that one, did they?
I think they did actually.
But either way, I do know they updated the Waldos on the back there to make it a more proper size, and whatnot. But outside of that, like it's going to be whatever you feel as a figure collector. But my big thing is if you already have said figure, the ones I mentioned are the only ones that you could consider saying, okay, I want to upgrade. Because the DX11 to DX38, that's like 20 DX releases. That one made sense with the Joker. Jack Sparrow doesn't make sense to me. The battle damage, Mark, the battle damage, I can't talk. The battle damage Terminator, not enough of an upgrade. The Darth Maul, I believe it. The speeder is the best part about it. But to me, like, yes, it looks better. But if you already have Darth Maul, are you beating down the door to get this one? I don't think you need to.
I am, dude.
But and that's the question I've asked before, and this may be what your question is how new does your collection need to be? And if you're that person that has to continually, I need the new, just be under the understanding that you are going to continually take losses at that point because you're constantly going to have to be playing the catch-up game. And as I'm curating, that's what kind of really changed my outlook. I was like, I got 400 plus figures in here. Am I going to upgrade every single one of these whenever a new one comes out that inevitably is coming? And I looked at myself and said, no, because unless it is a massive upgrade to where it's going to be worthwhile, it just doesn't make sense to me, at least.
Yeah, that's fair because you're in a unique position. That's definitely one of those.
And I don't want to be in this position. I don't want to.
Yeah, right, dude. Honestly, it's those boxes you showed me in that little crawl space or attic or whatever. Like that's an intense area right there. So I have a lot of them up in my attic too, though. Same deal. So and my walk-in closet is completely filled with art boxes. So it's it's totally a whole thing. I mean, it's the collector's bane of existence. Optical has a garage. I know he has a lot of his stuff in, but Kiko, again, you and I disagree on this one. I've not held all these in hand yet, obviously, but I can tell you I'm super hyped for the Darth Maul. I will say Jack Sparrow, in my opinion, is a huge upgrade. And then the Joker, obviously, you and I agree on.
I will give you that one. Yep.
Yeah, the Joker, you and I agree on.
Complete retool.
Yeah, that Artisan Joker is fantastic. Dude. Yes. It beats the in art. It's fantastic. You just got to be careful with the hair. Just don't mess with the eyes too often, because it can get real.
Get it? Yeah, that's the trick. That's why everyone's like long flowing mane, because you're pulling that back piece off and messing up the product in the hair.
Exactly.
And that's another conversation that we need to have at some point is about the Artisan versus rooted hair thing. Is because we don't know what it's going to be like in 6 years, 7 years, how the dust settles on all these figures. Yeah, they sound cool in theory. But I don't know, man.
Yeah, we don't know. But I will say, when you take that head sculpt out, you smell that product.
Yes, you do.
It smells like
nice
gasoline or something. Yeah, it's crazy.
If you lit a match, it would blow up.
It would, honestly. But Optical, what do you think? I mean, I think these are massive upgrades myself. And Kiko and I disagree. My Darth Maul is coming from Josh, so it'll be a little while. But Darth Maul is like one of my most anticipated. I think it looks like a big improvement. I did talk to our guy, Batman Collectibles, and he He sold his. Funny enough.
I know. That's what I meant to bring it up. It's like Kevin did the same thing.
Yeah, he did. He was trying to get me to buy because I messaged him and I was like, I shouldn't though. He almost sold it to me, but I was like, I'm gonna pass because he didn't have the speeder and I want the speeder. So, but optical. What do you think? I mean, these look like huge upgrades to me. Kiko's not so much a believer. What are your thoughts?
Oh man! First and foremost, I have a video regarding this exact same
nice.
So thank you for ruining that. But
it hasn't been released yet.
No, it's there. It's
okay. We'll go watch it after the stream. People. Go watch this.
No, but like, okay, so we can look at this in two ways. Like, as a collector who just likes toys, and an upgrade is an upgrade. I think this is all an upgrade. The question is how big of an upgrade, and are they necessary upgrades? Yeah. I get why some of these guys we've seen the light off because, as I mentioned earlier, there was no figures to be released, so they tapped into the well. It's like, hey, you know what? Let's do a 2.0 in this. But honestly, like, I'm reading Michael's here. Like, so there's one way to look at this. One is the quality, and the other one is being a collectible. So whenever you 2.0 something, you ruin the value of the first one. I never really cared much about value. But with that being said, if you're gonna 2.0 something like that Bucky, that Winter Soldier, that's a 2.0.
Yes.
The two Terminators, I love them. I don't have them now because I did sell mine. That's a 1.5.
1.5, yeah.
They're a 1.5. They're not really a 2.0. They're 1.5 because it's for me. You gotta make the 1.0 look like Hasbro for you to be considered. It was like, oh man, look at this. I think they didn't do that with DX15. Is that a testament of how well the figure was back then, or a testament of how really minute of improvement they did? I don't think the DX15 is not that bad. The two Terminators is not that bad. Joker, that's an improvement because I think they gotta respond to in-art. The Iron Spider is not necessary. Armored Batman could be the same Armored Batman. The Captain America Winter Soldier there. Okay, I get it because the first one doesn't move. Bad proportions. The head sculpt doesn't. Okay,
if you did get the in-game one and have that one already, it's tough to justify this one.
Right.
Yeah. And magnetic base now, which is cool. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. The T1000 is also a 1.5.
I'll disagree and say that's a 2.
I mean,
I love
never had the original.
Yeah, I love all of these. Like, I'm probably gonna purchase 90% of this.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe 100%. Minus Jack Sparrow because I already have the DX15 and it's okay.
Oh boy.
But with that being said, cool. Like that Batman Returns, maybe it can move now because the first Returns can't move. For the love of God. But are they really blowing out the other figure out of the water? They're better and they should be better. They're like, what, 5 years ahead of time or something? They should be better. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy for the newer collectors, so they don't have to, get a figure. But this is what it is. This is not a Man of Steel, and Kiko's gonna hate me for this. This is not a Superman BVS from InArt. This is a Superman BVS from Hot Toys. This is not the same situation. Right. That is like when you put them side by side, I was like, oh man, this is a big difference.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can say that completely. Oh, hold on,
John. Chills now.
John's calling me. John, Gotcha. I'm trying to get the
you got to say what they pay you to say. I remember
that, get the Nobi on board.
Optical, I don't think you saw that Optical when I was in San Diego, and he was like, John, he came on the stream and he was like, I hope Will's saying everything we paid him to say, and I was like, that motherfucker, dude. I was like, dude, he's gonna get me canceled. So stupid.
Yeah, I mean, if not, you're already in, but I love all of this. I don't know if some of them are 2.0 necessarily. They're an improvement. All of them are an improvement, no doubt about it, and they should be. But they're not. I'm not convinced they're all 2.0.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I'm really excited about it, and I think honestly the 2.0s are more exciting because they're iconic characters worthy of a 2.0, and that's what I think they're doing them, and the definitive iterations of those characters. I will say the BVS Armor 2.0, I think it has die-cast components this time. I'm not sure if the original did, but I know that photo they showed on the new one showing the die-cast components on the armor. So I think that's probably the difference. The Mark 42 is really nice, honestly. Like, I honestly,
great head sculpt.
I love that thing. Like, I honestly wish that I love that suit, Kiko, but I don't like Iron Man 3 that much. Like, it's just not. But I always loved the Mark 42. I thought it's a great suit. I was like,
when was the last time you watched Iron Man 2 or 3?
Probably since they came out. Yeah.
They've aged really well, I think.
Okay.
Personally.
Maybe I should rewatch that.
Especially at last little plug is that if you know the whole arc of Tony, and how he ends, I think that complemented and made Iron Man 2 and 3 better.
Okay, gotcha. I'm assuming they're probably, I don't know, they're going to Artisan Iron Man at some point, but I'm wondering which one they're going to do. I would assume it'd probably be 85 or 85 battle damage would be my guess, but I think they're waiting to give Endgame a little bit more time before they start remaking them, but eventually they will. This optical. They're going to make Captain America Endgame 2.0, Iron Man 2.0, Thor. I don't think you need a 2.0, but Artisan Thor.
Did they get better or because they're not standing next to Infinity War anymore? Because they're standing right next to I don't know, Black Widow and Shang-Chi.
Right, exactly. Dude, I don't know, man. I will say though, but I can tell you if they 2.0 those, I think they're going to be.
Oh, I mean the Iron Man 2 and 3 movie. Because back then they were like weak movies, right? Like I said, we're talking about Winter Soldier, Civil War, and then they came out and they were like, yeah. But now comparing them to like the Black Widows, and
Marvel.
Not that it's this Phase 5, you're gonna be like, well, they're the strongest. If you put them right now in Phase 5, they're one of the top 3. I bet you.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think they're pretty legit. So I mean, I'll definitely give them another watch. But yeah. I think it'll be a fun time. Maybe I'll watch that with Kiko next time I go back, and then we'll watch Iron Man 2 and 3 as well. We're gonna have way more time on our hands than I think we're never gonna have. Kiko, we don't even have time to plan things, but we were gonna go to that falls area. I forget what it was called, but we ran.
Rock Island.
Yeah, we're gonna go there next time because it booked up. Remember, we tried to go and then it sold out. Yeah, that was disappointing. Amy was
shameful.
I know it was still fun. Michael De Castillo, thanks so much, bro. $20 super chat. For me, when I first got into the hobby, I saw this as an investment. So 2.0s hurt that. Now it's great that 2.0s are made so collectors who missed out on the first have another chance and new collectors get the best on offer. Yeah. So like Kiko was saying, like if you don't have the original, then by all means go for the 2.0. I'm a little bit different. I like to upgrade to the 2.0s. Everyone's different. I think these are all pretty much big improvements. So for me, I just view it a little bit differently. Kiko, if I didn't see a huge improvement, then I wouldn't jump in. But the fact that I do see that, I'm like,
we'll see what they release next then and see if you change your tune.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the character too, But if I already have that figure in my collection, then yeah. But DX13, already a great figure, no doubt, no argument for me on that one. That's an amazing figure. But let's just do it. Who doesn't make amazing figures? Sometimes it's third party, but sometimes it is not third party. Third party makes great figures from time to time, and also some figures from time to time that are subpar quality. So, Kiko, I feel like we got a little bit of feedback, negative feedback on our last live stream about this. And I wanted to share, and we'll get Optical's thoughts on this because he wasn't here for that one. So we want to get Optical's thoughts as well. For my recollection, too, by the way, I think Natalie agreed with us, but she didn't catch any of the heat that you and I did. For some reason, Natalie's too likable. She's not going to get any of that.
I used to be likable. Remember that?
Back in the day. There was a time before you got promoted. Yeah. And then now you promoted you. Yeah, not so much. But I will say, Kiko, does displaying third-party figures reduce the quality of your collection? Because this was a topic, again, that we tackled, I guess, in passing last week with that Cassandra Nova figure. And a lot of people really like that figure. I not so much didn't like it. Optical, I don't know if you saw it or did, but I just looks like a third-party figure to me. And what I want to say, Kiko, before you jump in here, I don't know how you're, I think, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I don't think either of us meant to communicate that we think all third-party is objectively bad. Like, I am not of that opinion at all. I have several third-party figures in my collection that I absolutely love. One of them, Pop Toy Scorpion, you can see right behind me. I think there's many good third-party figures out there. Many not good third-party figures, which is where my statements come from. I think third-party, more often than not, does not stack up anywhere close to Hot Toys. And for that matter, neither does 3-0 or who else? Like Star Ace or Asmus, any of them, which we'll talk about as well. Yeah, so same type of deal. But Kiko, I want to let you go on this one. Does displaying third-party figures reduce the quality of your collection if you're displaying them primarily next to Hot Toys and InArt and other high-quality manufacturers? What are your thoughts on that?
We've already done this before, so there's nothing new under the sun, as the good book says. But yes, that's true. If you if you have a Porsche in the driveway and you pull up a Civic next to it, you can tell that there's a difference. They're both cars. They both get you where they need to go, and they both do the job. That's fine. posted that little picture on my story, and buddy asked me, he says, "Damn, what's going on?" I was like, "Well, statues are getting some love and the shit pieces are headed out." He said, "What are you getting rid of?" I said, "I'm starting with the mid-ass third-party stuff, then working up to periphery characters. I'd like to get rid of 50 figures. I have way too many that are just okay." And like that's one of the ones that's just okay. But I'd also love when you have the iconic Thanos, the Infinity War Thanos, surrounded by his Black Order that are third parties. They look pretty damn good. I mean, for what they are. But you cannot put that next to Thanos literally and say they're of the same quality. That's, I think, where our argument and our conversation had yesterday. It's not saying, because like I said, I have mine displayed with the Hot Toys Thanos from whoever made this again, Toys Battalion or whatever it was. But it doesn't reduce the quality of your collection. Your collection's your collection. No one should say, well, yours sucks because you have this.
No.
But you should be able to say objectively, the tailoring on this is poor. The tailoring on this one's better. The paint apps on this one far exceed this one. That's what I think I'm getting at. And I think what we were trying to say is that you have to be able to say, okay, as a collector, am I okay with having something that is painted like this next to something else? And the average person, like I said, it's your collection. Don't get me wrong. The average person, if they were to walk in, they'd say, this one looks cheaper than that one. That's all we're saying. And that's the truth because they're cheaper figures.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And like the chat is saying, 1,000% it's case by case basis. And it's not just third party. There are plenty of licensed companies that do not produce figures near the quality of Hot Toys, which is why, again, we'll talk about that, but you're not going to see those in my collection either. But again, it's not a blanket for all third party. It never was. It's not like I think all third party bad. Here's the Lim Toys Nathan Drake, which again, Kiko doesn't have a connection to it, but I do. And I get, if you didn't know the character, you could say like, oh, he's not that exciting. But this is a really damn good figure. It's a really well done figure, as is the Arthur Morgan by Lim Toys. And I also did the Game Toys Cloud Strife figures, which I've talked about as well. And I put them all up, side by side here. And they're fantastic figures. They look just like the characters from, from the movies and the games of Cloud Strife. So I love these. There's a lot of third-party figures that I absolutely love, and I think they can make great things, but more often than not, they don't produce the same level of quality, which to me makes the collection look a little more inconsistent. That's just my opinion. But if it's a character you really want, by all means, go get that character, put him in your display. But for me, Kiko, I like to display a similar metric of quality. I guess a standard of quality is the word I'm looking for. And when I get third-party figures that are beneath that, to me, it devalues the display of the collection. That's what I'm getting at. Not monetarily. Like, I think people misinterpreted that one when they were talking about that. Like, well, they're saying like it makes your collection cheaper. Like, no, nothing to do with money at all. I'm talking about the image of it, the perception of it, and how you look at it and how other people look at it. So, Optical, what do you think? I mean, does it devalue your collection, or is it more complicated than that?
Well, the first question, devalue it to whom, right? Like I said, if you're displaying it, it's not like I'm inviting people just to stare at my collection.
That was pretty cool. It was like,
pretty fun. What do you say? And like you're the only one, I would say 99% of the time, who notices that. Yeah. If you are looking, like we had a Super Bowl party here, all my friends were down. None of them are collectors. Now, so I have a third party Michael Corleone. He's from something Pop Toys, whatever. And then he's sitting to, in my opinion, one of the best figures in my collection, which is Don Corleone from Blitzway. So they're sitting right next to each other, and it's third party. The stitching is not right. The suit is kind of baggy. I have them sitting down. None of them said was like, well, you know what, the pants are kind of longer or the suit is kind of. No, they don't care. Like to them, they're all dolls. So, but I'm happy because I finally got a Michael and a Don. So I don't care what their opinions are. Now, from your perspective, is it devaluing? I guess it's how you display them as well. depending on, because that Michael is not one of the best third-party figures ever created. It's just one of the characters that I wanted to have in my collection. So depending on how you position them, there's some things that are unsavable, like this one. It's
this one. I mean, people will say I'll take an extreme example, but this one is pretty rough.
Would it make, let's say you got the Star Ace Ghostbusters, right? For a regular person, that's like, wow, this looks like
they would say that.
Yeah, they would look like, from another, you get another 1/6 collectors like, this is trash, but depending on how you display them as well. I mean, that's one of the, I'd rather display all third party when it's nicely done, when it's curated, other than it's like you're looking like a toy store where you all have InArt, for example, or Hot Toys, and they're like all cramped up, which mine is, if you can see on my back. But again, I'm not trying to impress everyone or anyone. This is just the way I collect. I have, I don't know, 200 figures. I want them to be easy to, if I'm going to take a picture, I just want them to be out, and, but I'm not competing for the best display out there. But if you are, it depends on how you display them. I don't think a Star Ace would ruin your entire collection because you have a Star Ace in there. It's how you display that Star Ace. That's the,
you put it in the very back behind everything else.
Yeah, if you put your Star Ace behind a Hulk, then you'll be fine.
Exactly.
You'll
a seamless Hulk. Yeah, that'd be perfect. But optically, it just depends, man. It depends on the figure. Some third-party figures are absolutely incredible, and some are absolute garbage. I mean, same goes with Star Ace, or some, I don't know if they've had an incredible figure, but other companies, 3-0 Kiko. Jamie Lannister's really great optical, as is Tormund and some other ones, but then others are dog shit. Like, I mean, and their Transformers are amazing, right? But when it comes to some of the more human likenesses, it's a little bit of a different story. But still, I think that sums that up. I mean, that's our thoughts. I mean, licensed companies are not immune to this. It's not a blanket statement about all third party, and it's certainly not, a disparaging comment about all third party cannot produce good quality. It's just not the case. I mean, I have third party figures in my collection, and they're amazing. So, just depends. So, I guess we'll see you guys. Thank you so much for your thoughts on that one. Let's keep things moving. We're going to keep this progressing. I don't think we had any other super chats. Okay, yeah, we didn't. Okay, so let's talk about Jazz Inc. Jazz Inc. actually provided some updates. I don't think I sent you this one, you guys, on the show notes. There were some updates on the Batman Returns Penguin. And again, Kiko, I don't know if Optical, you have owned a Jazz Inc. 1/6 scale figure yet. I have not. Kiko had that Vulture figure. There's been some updates on, for one, they talked about a 66 Catwoman, which is pretty interesting. And they talked about this Penguin providing more updates. Yoast is providing constant updates throughout this production process to get people on board and get excited about it. But Kiko, does it look good enough to invest in? I mean, I don't know where else you're going to get a Penguin anytime soon, but, there are some pretty compelling updates. What are your thoughts here?
I go against the grain on this one. I don't like what I see. This looks no different than that Eternal Toys Penguin that I have. Ooh. And I got that for like $80. Do I really want to spend $800 on this one? No, thank you. It's the paint apps just do not look there. I'm sorry. And maybe it's just bad lighting, bad, basically all the excuses people get for InArt when it doesn't look good. Focal length, white balance,
color grading.
Yeah, I'm just, it looks cheap, looks off to me. Not for what they charge for Catwoman. I think this is a massive miss. And I don't know. I don't have any of those in my hands. But to me, this looks like Eternal Toys Penguin.
Mm-hmm. Do we trust Jazz Inc. at all, Kiko, to produce a high quality figure? I mean, they haven't done it yet.
How do you know? How can you answer that question? I mean,
well, I guess you had their Vulture. I mean, how did you feel about it? I mean,
2 out of 10.
See, that's pretty low.
Yeah, I mean, the wings themselves, beautiful. I'd say the wings are like a 7 out of 10 because I still think they're very fragile. And I'm gonna get the DMs already for the cult of Jazz Inc. yelling at me, but damn.
Yeah, you are.
Like, I don't think it's worth the price for the stuff that's out there. I appreciate Yoast. I appreciate the company. I appreciate them doing things, pushing the limits. But for my experience, I've not been thrilled. And I don't think I'm the only one out there. It's once you break free from the mindset and you start speaking against it, you're like, wow, I feel a little different. But to me, I was not impressed enough to say I'm going to spend $1,400 on an unproduced first ever real fig from them with Catwoman. I'm like, I'm not out. And to this, looks like Eternal Toys Penguin to me.
Yeah. Well, the coat and all that looks.
Coat looks the coat looks better than what I have for sure. But I guess we'll see.
It does look pretty cool. But Optical, what do you think? I mean, do you have any faith in Jazz Inc. here? Does it look good enough to invest in this Penguin or any other of their figures?
Is this really $800?
We're not sure yet. I don't think. Has there been a price? Yeah, on this.
That's how much the Catwoman was.
Yeah, but that was like a 2-pack, wasn't it? It was a 2-pack.
No.
Okay,
the single was like 500. If you got the deluxe with the big base, it was like 700. Then if you want the battle damage 2-pack, it was like 14.
Okay, yeah, I don't even remember, but because I had no interest in them because I haven't even seen Batman Returns yet. So I'll watch it with Kiko.
How many movies are we watching when you're here?
A lot, dude. We're gonna watch a lot. That's all we're gonna do. Optical, what do you think?
We're planning an 8-day trip at this point.
Exactly.
First and foremost, when InArt first came into the scene, at least they have some resume. They made statues, really good statues. So when they came in knocking on the door and then they showed that prototype of Joker, even though it's $1,100, you kind of have some faith. You'll be like, all right, you know what? DX11 is worth $600 at that point. You know what? What's another 500, right? What's another 500? I'll get the 2-pack. It makes sense. If this is remotely close to $500, because it has rooted hair, let's just pretend this is like an Artisan. And we're talking about Jazz Inc., who specializes on vehicles. And this is their first rodeo in a figure. I don't think I want to risk $500 on this one, because that's risking it, right? This could be, I mean, it doesn't look good now. Trust me. I mean, this is like at the very best, a good third party, like in my opinion, right? It's a really good third party look. But the risk you're having, and this includes InArt, and InArt is not immune to this. We're talking about DC. You could be Artisan Joker. And what I mean by that is when we got the InArt Joker, everyone thought it was the ultimate Joker. Yeah. What happened? We got Artisan Joker.
Yeah.
This is DC. What happens if you spent $500 on this and then all of a sudden Hot Toys decided it was like, you know what? Fantastic Four is not that good. Let's revisit returns.
Right.
Let's all of a sudden they made one.
Great point.
For $200 or $300. Be like, oh man. I mean, it hurts me to have that InArt Joker that I can't sell.
Yeah.
And then I won the Artisan Joker. It was like, that's $1,100. And that's a good figure. Regardless of the amount, it's still a good figure. I don't know if this is, I don't know if I can call this, and
we don't know prices. I'm just throwing that out there based off the other one.
Sure. We're assuming it's 500.
But general ballpark. Yeah.
Right, because it has the rooted hair. So we're putting Artisan level here. I might risk this for $275. Kind of like, hey, what if Hot Toys doesn't make one, right? Like I paid $275, a little bit more than the third party, maybe even at $320, right? Like $320, maybe you could risk it, because what if no one makes a Joker anymore? This is licensed Joker. It looks good. It looks decent. It doesn't have the rolling eyeball system, I'm assuming. I guess.
I don't know if it will or not. I've not heard. Yeah, I know. I think the Catwoman does, though. I think pretty sure. So
yeah,
I haven't followed these Jazz Inc. products as closely because they're just not making things I'm super interested in.
Yeah, it's a gamble for sure, because you never know if the big boys are going to make it. So for the right price, sure, gamble it. I mean, what if no one makes it, Penguin? I don't want you to miss one out because we said so. But with that being said, know what you're getting and hope for the best. That's
Optical. Hot Toys revels in fucking with the competition.
They'll just mess up with you just because they can.
Dude, 100% they will. Like even with Soso when they made that classic Loki and everyone was going crazy about it, Hot Toys was like, we don't even think this is going to sell, but we're going to make this just to fuck with you. Like that's
remember the mechanical cable?
Oh yeah, cable. Yep.
Deadpool has been out for a long time, and that mechanical shot up in value. I think for like $400. And they were like, you know what? Here's cable. Even
exactly.
It came out 5 years ago.
Exactly. That's what they'll do. And they could easily make a Catwoman and a Penguin just to fuck with Jazz Inc. Particularly if people end up liking the product, their contractors gonna be like, okay, we see you. Yeah, let's make a cheaper one. Yeah, and it's gonna be probably better. So I don't know. I think this could come out good though. I don't doubt, they have the resources hopefully to pull it off, but again, you are rolling the dice a little bit, but it was the same case with InArt Optical when the Joker was announced and other figures. InArt had not made 1/6 scale figures yet, and people were rolling the dice on that too. So sometimes you got to be an early investor, early adopter, right?
Like I said earlier, that's InArt though. They're known for statues.
Yes.
Jazz Inc. is known for vehicles.
Yes, so it's true. So we'll see if they can pull this off. I mean, I hope so. They've been providing updates, so I'm glad that they've been doing that. But yeah. Let's keep it rolling, guys. We're going to keep moving to the next topic. So people, again, we were talking about the third-party thing, Optical. So buying licensed brands other than Hot Toys or InArt. So there's some examples that I brought up, Optical, and one of them being actually one of the ones that you mentioned, and I brought it up beforehand. So the Damn Toys Godfather, right? There's of course the one in the black suit, and then of course the one in the gray suit, which is before he, meets his, I won't spoil too much, but again, there's some really good licensed figures outside of these companies. Again, I have the iconic Studios Pyramid Head. I absolutely love that figure. There's a lot of great figure manufacturers out there that make good figures that are licensed, but there's a lot of ones out there that make bad figures that are licensed also. And some examples that I have here, like, I don't know if they're bad per se, but they're just not on the level of Hot Toys, right? So you look at Jon Snow, Season 8 from 3-0, right? Not one of their strongest products. They have made others like Jaime Lannister and Tormund, like I mentioned, that are really good, but it's just not on the level of some others. Justin also did another review. I think you reviewed this too, the Asmus Legolas, right? Now that we have an in-art prototype to compare it to, it looks like an absolute toy, right? So it's just, Optical, how do we feel about buying licensed brands, other than Hot Toys or in-art? Like, do we feel any sort of confidence? Do we feel that devalues a collection? Is it risky? What are just your general thoughts on extending outside the normal ballpark we have?
I guess it depends on the collector, because I am not all about quality. Sometimes I am about the character. So I want the best possible character that I can have at the moment. Like Legolas is essential for me. Like I'm not going to risk it. That what if in-art never came along? This came out before in-art. Yeah. So and it also depends on the price that we're talking about. Like with Penguin, if it's 800, if this was 800, no way I'm going to get this. But this is under 200. So we also got to, set our expectation. Like the Jon Snow is 150 or 170.
It was like 170, but no base. I always hate that.
No base, right? Yeah. But we're talking about a 170 figure, and now you have a Jon Snow. What if in-art doesn't do a Jon Snow? So you have two options. Not to have a Jon Snow, or pay 170 and to have a Jon Snow that doesn't look like Jon Snow.
Right.
Sometimes I take the latter part. And for the most part, honestly, I do, because I have, ideas that I can put him in. I want to take pictures of him. I was like, I'm going to Photoshop him. It's somewhat going to look like Jon Snow. I'll put like snow effects on him or whatever. So you have two options, not to have it or have it. Does it devalue your collection? Again, to whom? That's what we're asking here. Because if you're talking about a regular guy that walks in, he'd know that it's Jon Snow if he watch, Now, when he looks at this and then he looks at the, your in-art Superman, will be like, well, he's not going to be like, well, this is so much detailed. I like the fact that I can't see his pegs. He's not going to say that. He's just going to be like, oh, you got.
I like the fact that I can't see his pegs.
It's like, oh, there's no wrist pegs that I can see. It's amazing. I'm wet. But
that's what the women say. I've heard it. Every woman who's come over to see the collection, I've heard that. So that sentence uttered many times.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, moving eyes. Oh my God, show me more.
Dude, I think I had one. It was like years ago. One woman that came over and saw it, and I think she was trying to like touch Drogon's teeth, and I was like, no. I was like, we're not gonna do that. Yeah. I was like, that thing's expensive.
You have a ruler. It was like,
yeah, exactly. Smack her like a teacher or something. Yeah. But yeah, no, dude, dude, honestly, I should keep a ruler nearby just for those type of occasions. But I'm with you though, Optical. I mean, if you really want the character, again, you know how I've been holding out for that quality, right? So I've had this Drogon and this throne here for how fucking long now, and I've been waiting for in-art to make Game of Thrones figures, and they say, well, it's our Star Wars. Like, well, sure, shit doesn't feel like it, because Game of Thrones is literally not even sniffed a pre-order at this point from in-art. Maybe next year, they said, who knows? But I'm playing the long game. I'm going to get a Jon Snow eventually. I just want it to be quality, and we're going to get there at some point. But Optical, I don't extend too far out of those two companies too frequent these days, but every once in a while there's a character like Pyramid Head that I really want, and Iconic made that, and I'm like, that's amazing. I have an Iconic Pyramid Head, and I love it. It's incredible. And of course there are other other things throughout the figure landscape that are worthwhile as well. So depends if you want the character. I want to maintain if you want to, I want to maintain a relative quality in my collection. So 3-0 Transformers can help do that. But it just, like I said, depends on the figure. It depends on the character, The
good news is there's no right and wrong about collecting.
Right.
Like, regardless of how you feel in that moment, might not how you feel. We change courses all the time. It's like, oh, I'm just Star Wars. And then I'm just Marvel. So it's not in a realm of impossibility that you buy third party, you buy crappy figures. Heck, I'm planning on buying Dexter from, what do you call that Present Toys or whatever, and it's licensed.
Oh yeah, right.
And that has been delayed for like 5 years, and it's still $270, and it's not a good figure by any means necessary.
Right.
But I love Dexter, so I want to get that, knowing that I'm going to get a crappy figure. But it's like, again, the option is not to have it or have it. I'm not really a curator, so depending on how you approach your collection, if you don't, it's like, oh, this is going to make my collection look bad, please don't get that. Or if you feel like, hey, there's going to be something better down the line, but I just don't feel like no one's going to make a Dexter. Had I known that somebody's going to make a Legolas 5 years ago, maybe I wouldn't have bought it. But
that's kind of how it was Optical, and now we know better. Like when we all bought the NR Joker 2-pack for Heath Ledger, we thought, oh, there's no way Hot Toys is going to do another one anytime soon. Like, we're thinking, oh, it's going to be the perfect 2-pack, and it was for the time until Hot Toys came along and said, oh, no, bitches, we're going to make the Ultimate Joker, and then next NR will 2.0 their Joker and be like, okay, we got the new Ultimate Joker, and then Hot Toys will be like, Artisan 2.0, bitches, and then it'll just be an endless cycle of Heath Ledger Jokers. Which is pretty much what's happened up until this point.
Right.
So
you just never know. Yeah. There's certain ones that you can kind of tell, like the DCs, because their licenses are all over the place. But some were like, all right, you just got to bite the bullet and get that.
Just how it goes, dude. It's how it goes, Optical. But I will say, Optical, we have one more topic to get through. Kiko is dealing with a dog-related issue at the moment. I believe his dog threw up, so he's with the dog at the moment. That's always a whole thing altogether. But Optical, we have one more topic to address here, and it's about the Artisan figure line. So I got to get our graphic. I think I forgot to download it, but I'm going to download it real quick. But there's been a couple Artisan releases thus far, Optical. It's actually 3, but I'm saying 2.5, because you have the Batman Imposter Joker, right? And you have the Jack Sparrow, and you have the Heath Ledger Joker. So those are the 3 Artisan releases so far. And overall, I'm happy with those. I think they're actually like really good releases. But at the end of the day, Optical, we need to, I think, dissect and analyze, what does the Artisan figure line look like moving forward? Like, do we have much more confidence now that those 3 out? Do we feel kind of underwhelmed? Do we feel like, okay, they've met our expectations? Because, people have been asking, where's Anakin for a while now? And I think that one, Hot Toys, if I had to suspect, I bet you they're struggling with the hairstyling on that one. And I bet you they're trying to delay it and take their time with it, because they know how important it is to not fuck it up. So they're like, we need to make sure, for one, it's good styling, and 2, it gets to you and still is good, well styled. That's what I think they're trying to figure out. Like, what type of product and this and that. It's all new for them. So, Optical, what do you think? Has the hype been legit on the Artisan line thus far?
Artisan is a byproduct of InArt. Let's be honest here. That's the response to InArt. So by asking that question, I guess as a whole, have we been happy with Rooted Hair? And I think the overwhelming answer is yes, because it adds realism just to pictures and all that stuff. Now there's another element to that, is the character. Like, do we need an Artisan Winter Soldier? The question. We need another Winter Soldier, but a 500 Winter Soldier. I mean, if you are a big Winter Soldier fan, I can see you purchasing that. For a regular person who just collects Marvel, maybe not, but I like the fact that they exist. For Artisan itself, I'm overall happy with how they look. Like, I think the Joker looks pretty decent. They're not the best, but we gave the first InArt Joker a pass, with the hair and some aspects to it. So I'm gonna give the first Artisan a pass as well, even though I think they improved. The Jack Sparrow, you have it, I don't have it, but it looks pretty good.
It's really good, dude. It's better than the DX15 by a long shot. I'm telling you. Don't listen to Kiko. I put him up in my video, Optical. It's fucking night and day. I'm telling you, it's a huge difference.
Doesn't the DX15 have some semblance of Rooted Hair?
It does. It has some. Yeah, it has like some strands of Rooted Hair, which this does as well. It has like some little strands on the sides that come out, but and of course you have the real dreadlocks, which are pretty awesome. But it's way better, dude. Trust me, it's way better.
Yeah, but I just don't know if they're there yet as far as rooting the hair, because that's what we're paying for here, is the rooted hair. I don't know if they're in the Aragorn level of rooted hair yet. Maybe. You got dark.
Kiko looks like he's in the Blair Witch, dude. Yeah, but dude, Optical. So you said it's not to like the InArt level of rooting hair yet? Like,
maybe not. You know, but there's only 2 or 2.5 so far.
Yeah, it's like
I guess we'll see Anakin if he looks like Yeah.
Anakin's the big first test. And Kiko secured one now, apparently. So I'm excited about that. But Kiko, what do you think? Has the hype been legit on the Artisan line so far?
On one of them, yes. I think most people are pretty damn pleased with the purple coat Joker. I know that when we originally the Imposter Joker came out of nowhere. Honestly, people are like, "What the fuck?" It came out of nowhere. People's like, "Oh, is this the Artisan sculpt?" And it, for the most part, is tweaked to a degree. And we had an idea of how good it was going to be, and we were not let down. The biggest issue with the Artisan Joker so far is when people mess with the hair when they're trying to adjust the eyes. That is the problem. So we don't know what that's going to look like long term because we just don't know. Is it worth the hype? As I said, man, and people actually came for me on this one too. Like when I paid that invoice and I was like, whoa, like that's wild for what we got. And I'm like, I don't know if the quality and the hype is there for that cost. Honestly, you're not gonna like this, Will. It certainly is not there for Jack Sparrow if you already have one. And because you're paying for, it's not rooted. I mean, granted, they're dreads. It's different. You know what I'm saying? It's like these are like the two most opposite things you could possibly get and call them artisans. And then Anakin somewhere going to be in the middle. And as I've said, the Artisan stuff is so unique because it's gonna vary from figure to figure. The Scarlet Witch is all up in the air because she doesn't have messy hair. It's styled hair. It's a woman's hair. So I don't know, man. 2.5 Artisans have been released. I don't know if they can keep the production up, honestly. That's my whole thing. Is they keep announcing more and not releasing any, you're eventually going to run into a buzzsaw.
Yeah. Well, Anakin's got to be next, right? I would assume. I mean, they could just totally shock everyone though and be like, God, Loki's next, and just release that. They could. I
honestly wouldn't be surprised if it was like the Peter Parker. Well, actually, if I remember,
would be next?
the Joaquin Joker was scheduled for like a real early.
Okay, gotcha. Joaquin Joker, yeah. Well, I think with that one they want to get it right too to beat InArt. So I think that's part of it too. They want to get that one right. So, but I mean, again, I think they're on. I think they're onto something so far, Kiko. I can tell you, man, having owned two of the Artisan figures of the three on this list, like they're some of the best figures in my collection. I mean, they really are. They're really quite premium. So they are expensive, though. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, to me, I'm happy to see them have gone down. I think the Joker was the most expensive. I'm happy to have seen them gone down a hair. Because I think Bucky was right at 4, something like that.
Yeah, it was like 420 or something like that.
And you got more.
I will say, Kiko, the prices have gone down in optical. I will tell you, same as Kiko. When Sal actually sold me his Joker, and he told me, he was like, "Okay, here's what the final cost is." I was like, "Damn!" Like I forgot it was that expensive. I think I paid him $580 for that Joker, just because with fees and everything and shipping, like tax, like it was damn near $600 for that Joker. So that was retail. Like he didn't charge me above retail. So that was just an expensive figure. And Jack was like, what, 500 Kiko, I think. So yeah. So optical, it's just, the price is high for these. Price is high.
Yeah, the question is it going to continue? Like, how many figures can they Artisan, and are they going to be a big seller? Because we all know about Joker. I mean, maybe Jack Sparrow.
They force them to be sellers because they put them behind pay or limited editions, and so everyone think they have to have them. All of them are sold out, so I don't think they're worried about that.
But after, I don't know, like how many releases when this becomes like the rolling eyeball system, where it becomes kind of like, oh, everyone has a rolling eyeball system. Like, everyone has an Artisan. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. And hey, with potential tariffs and stuff, maybe we'll see prices increase. I don't know. Who knows? But that's it, guys. We're going to wrap it there. Thank you so much for joining us for another productive show. Kiko's in the Blair Witch right now, which is crazy. It's pretty wild. But I'm glad, Optical. Thank you, man, for joining last minute. I know it was a last minute thing. Dean told me he overslept, so he had an alarm, which we figured as much.
Today. What did he do?
What a surprise.
Probably nothing, dude. Dean he's just living the dream. That's why he is Dean the Dream. So I told him, I was like, don't even stress about it, man. Optical's here to save the day. So
he was dreaming. He was dreaming for sure.
He was dreaming. All right. But yeah, good to have both of you guys. Kiko, is there anything coming up on the channel, man, you want to discuss?
Next week, our big picture thing, whatever that ends up being, whatever strikes me, we'll have something for you at some point.
Well,
if I can ever clean up my room.
Yeah, dude, it'll be super compelling, I'm sure. And I got to go back and watch your other videos, so I'll do that. But yeah, man, thanks for joining as always. I know you had some chaos that you were able to get through and join, so I appreciate you, man. So, and congrats on the promotion. Very exciting.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good time for us.
Absolutely. Well, Optical, thanks so much for joining last minute, man. I love you. I appreciate you. Anything coming up on the channel you want to talk about?
About a bunch of in-arts, because like John
in-art show now.
So I ordered a bunch of in-art directly.
You got it dripping right here off your channel.
From him earlier,
happens to the best of us. So we'll see.
Yeah, it just
did you actually order more in-art? Did you order more?
Why wouldn't I?
Okay, you just ordered Legolas though. You ordered Legolas, didn't you?
I ordered Legolas, Nazgul. I don't even like Harry Potter. I was just like,
well, it's because you got it from Big Bad, right? You got it from Big Bad.
Yeah, I was like,
go ahead and tell us your affiliate link so we can use it for a code.
It was like, just no, I'm getting it directly from Johnny. So
is that Johnny's gonna ship it directly to you? That's what he does for me. So yeah. But yeah, Optical. So guys, check out Optical 20. Check out Kiko Collects, and of course, there'll be other stuff on the channel. I just posted a video last night, which got a little bit of some controversy. Nothing crazy, but I put out the 21 essential Hot Toys to buy, whatever, and I put Kylo Ren on there. Someone commented, they were like, "I unlike this video because you put Kylo in there." I was like, "Okay, that's fair. That's fair." I figured some of them would be controversial.
Was he last? Kylo?
He was like second to last. Yeah.
Okay. That's fair.
So, and people were like, so basically your collection. I was like, pretty much, because I wanted to have Kiko like ones that I actually owned. So
that's fair. There's no way to make a decision unless you've actually made.
Yeah. So it was kind of hard for me to say like, these are must own, but I don't own them. So it was kind of like, yeah, I mean, it was like, so they weren't that must own because I don't even have them. So I guess I could do one saying like, these are must own for other collectors, but not for me, like just objectively, like as a consensus, but that'd be a different video. So anyway, guys, check out that video. It's up on the channel. Deadpool review, Nathan Drake review, Joker in our comparison to Hot Toys is all up. It's all up there. But thank you guys so much for the support as always. You guys have warmed my heart and soul. And thanks to Kiko and Optical for joining me and being my best buds. So we'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good and safe weekend. I'll see you. Bye. Thank you for watching another episode of Lights Camera Collect. Please make sure to click the like button and subscribe to this channel. And of course, check out my amazing co-host channel, Kiko Collects, linked in the description below. Thank you so much and see you in the next one.